What was the worst change in a person you saw at your high school reunion? Methusa. It was a 10-year reunion, but I swear to God, she looked 50 years old. Nothing will age you and change your life for the worse faster than meth. Heroin gives it a good run for the money though. I went to high school with a disorganized but well-mannered kid who was pretty well known and not unpopular. He ended up dropping out of college to travel in Asia, where he got into a bar fight, hit someone, and badly injured him. Spent the rest of his college years in a nation, can't remember where, prison. When I saw him at our reunion, he had a massive face tattoo and was using every racial slur known to man, loudly. I think it was me. I was drunk 1 hour in, because it was so awkward, so I kept drinking. Is there even another way to participate in a high school reunion? I got shit-faced at my 10-year reunion. I was buying people shots, accosted the DJ to play songs from our high school days, started a dance-off, and then enthusiastically recruited a group to keep the party going at a local bar. The best part was I was so shy and withdrawn in high school, no one remembered me and no one really knew who I was. I threw up in my dog's bed the next morning. A truly beautiful and inspiring story. Worst change I ever saw was no change at all. This is why I'll be avoiding reunions. That shit's coming up way too soon, right? Mine will be in 3 years, and I'm kind of hoping they can't get in touch with me. I left home and have gone back exactly 3 times since I turned 19. Well, 2 classmates got married, and then one murdered their toddlers and killed himself. Holy shit, dude. Yup, that's enough for today. Went to my 10 years a while back, flew from New York City back to my little one-horse town in TN. Wasn't sure if the trip would be worth it, but it was. Reunion was held at a local bar and everything was normal for the first half of the night. Caught up with a few old friends, had some drinks, and talked about life. Toward the end of the evening, one of the old class clowns whips his dick out and smacks another guy, who is seated, right in the face with it. Other guy retaliates by chucking his beer, and a drunken brawl ensues. Apparently the class clown had a tremendous drinking/drug problem since high school and no one else seemed that surprised by his actions. Last I saw he had been jailed for meth after leading the cops on a lengthy chase. Sometimes, the saddest thing is how certain people never change. Though seeing that dick slap really did make the trip worthwhile. As the evening wore on, it became apparent that the crazy fun party guy who seemed awesome at the beginning of the night was really the weepy alcoholic crying about having nothing left to live for. It was very depressing. Wow, that's basically my New Year's Eve from last year. Now I can't enter that bar without someone asking about my mental health. Damn, do you actually still go there? In high school, there was a girl I envied because she was the stereotypical popular girl. Blonde hair, blue eyes, full of pep. She had dreams of going to medical school and being a pediatric cardiologist. She was a star in my dance class, the lead in the plays. She could sing. She took advanced placement classes. She was nice too. On our senior trip at the end of senior year, she told me about how she'd take speed to be up for days at a time so she didn't have to sleep and could do so much. She never went to college. She looks really bad. Had a few babies, one of them born addicted to drugs, I believe. She walks around town with her head down, all in black. She doesn't talk to anyone. It's really sad honestly. I went to a pretty competitive college, and it was crazy to see all the students abusing Adderall and drugs like that. Some people just feel so much pressure to perform academically that they fuck themselves up. Most handsome, popular, rich, quarterback of the football team/class president guy took a swan dive off a high floor of a hotel in front of his wife and kids a couple years back. Didn't see that one coming. Honestly, it was me. High school me was very animated, social and skinny. 15 years later me was very withdrawn, sad and obese. It's so strange. I never fantasized that I'd be the guy that people talked about having really gone downhill. I was always such a great student. I was active. I volunteered for things. I made art. A real type A person. Someone you'd want to be around. But I was the one people whispered about, and it really hurt. You'd think if someone was going through major depression, they would know, right? I didn't. Without drawing this out, the good news is that I'm doing really great now. I'm skinny again. I'm social. I'm out there doing stuff, and I think I can count myself as someone people want to be around. It's kind of scary, having a personality, but exciting scary. Hopefully, at the 20-year reunion, the whispers will be different. Had a clique of 4-ish popular girls who ended up marrying fairly young and having kids right out of high school. They all sell LuLaRoe and have spent most of their husband's money on the business. So now they spend their days at home on Facebook trying to sell crap leggings to people. 2 of them tried to sell to me and a big group of other classmates before we all just moved away from them and did our own thing. You could feel the desperation coming off of them. Just had our 20th. 2 people we could not locate, but both are known to be drug addicts and homeless. I hope they're both doing okay because they were good kids who had a hard upbringing. How big was your graduating class? I know for a fact my class 5-year reunion was missing at least one person, and I'm sure they didn't miss me. I went to my 20-year reunion a few years back. The girl who organized the whole thing was, and is pretty, popular, and intelligent. She also turned out to be a high-level member of the Keith Rainier cult NXIVM, which has been in the news lately. She was using the event to recruit people. One guy who was a total asshole to me apparently fathered children with several classmates in the first few years after school, including both my ex-girlfriends. It would be funny if it wasn't so sad, like Nia with all those bullets dodged. A friend of mine was super smart. He had skipped a couple of years. He went to college and majored in engineering. He had a great job, lovely wife, and kids. A couple of years later he just dropped out of society, moved to a tiny one-room cabin off the grid. His wife thinks skipping grades in school messed him up. For most of his education he was 3 years younger than his classmates. Doesn't sound like much, but at that age it's a big difference. He was smarter than the older kids and had no common interests. He didn't know many kids his own age and didn't have much in common with them either. Everyone expected big things out of him, and the pressure finally got to him. He just got in his car after work one day and drove north. Didn't tell anyone. He married well. His wife was 100% supportive. He lived like a hermit for years while she raised and supported him and the kids. A couple of times a year he'd show up for a visit. About 10 years later he just showed up one day with all his things and moved back home. He works on a night crew cleaning movie theaters after hours. Everyone thought he was going to change the world. He was voted most likely to succeed. I think the expectations from everyone else led him to make decisions based on expectations and not what he wanted. Great guy. Amazing wife. Good kids. I still can't believe he's cleaning theaters at night. She brought her children. There were 12 of them. She was drunk. Really drunk. Like she turned up drunk. She didn't leave until 11 PM. She left her baby in the bathroom. She used to be president of the Chastity Club. 100% serious. This girl was one of the nicest people you'd ever meet. And not in that, oh, I'll be nice to you, so you are nice to me mindset. No, she was just a genuinely nice person to everyone. But she was really sheltered. Like she wasn't allowed at school dances, no dating, no macup, not that she needed it, she was freaking gorgeous, no drama cast parties, no field trips, unless her parents were allowed to chaperone, no sleepovers, and all that jazz. Always dressed super modestly. My 10-year reunion was this year, and she was basically Skeletor, the red-nosed crack whore. I guess she went off to college and went absolutely wild with her newfound freedom. Went right over the deep end and never climbed back.